All right, how's it going, everybody? So I decided to mix it up today, and I wanted to give you guys a recovery respiratory workout. And again, it's not going to be too crazy of a workout, but it's going to be a great little circuit or sequence for you to go through that you can do almost every day. You can use it for recovery, you can use it pre-workout, post-workout, however you want to use it. The main goal of this circuit is going to be to help get our body to a neutral position. So without wasting too much time, just so you guys know, based on how our diaphragm is shaped, our body is asymmetrical. I think you're already aware of how the organs are shaped. We got a heart on one side, we got a liver on one side. Things are a little lopsided. So throughout our lives, if we don't move and reciprocate a ton and we're constantly sitting and stagnant based on how our tissues are inside our organs and how we breathe, we oftentimes start to compensate and lateralize to one side. More often than not, that side is the right side. So we end up seeing in people that they are compressed on the right side. This right shoulder sits lower, the ribs pull down more, we got more internal oblique on this side. On the left side, that left shoulder hikes up, we end up flaring the left rib cage, this left diaphragm kind of blows out, and then this right side stays in nice and tight in that dome shape. So we end up lateralizing to the right hip pulls back, we turn to the right, we compensate pulling back to the left, we end up again with that rib flare and that compression on the right side, and then we also end up with those asymmetries in the hips. So that could be a full video on its own. Just know that because of how we are built inside and because we don't move as much as we should, we end up lateralizing to the right, okay? So all these drills are built about bringing you back and hopefully getting you a little bit more centered, a little bit more neutral so that you can properly perform whatever you want to do, whether it's walking, jogging, running, your exercise program, any of that. The more neutral you can be, the more helpful and more successful you're going to be. And the more that you're breathing will help reciprocate where it needs to, and we can get breath in all chambers inside the rib cage. So we got 3 movements. The first one, you're going to need some sort of little object. It's just like a little 3 to 4 inch diameter ball. You could use like a little towel rolled up. You could use a pillow, just something to put between the legs. I'm going to lay on my back, and I'm going to put myself in what we call a 90-90 position. I know we've been in the 90-90 on the side, so a little bit different here. 90-90, just looking for 90 degrees here and 90 degrees here. I'm going to take that ball, I'm going to put it right in between my knees. So I don't need you to drive super hard into the wall, but I want you to feel the wall. So there's just this gentle press on the wall. I'm going to squeeze my ball just enough so it doesn't fall out. And then I want to feel my hamstrings. So to do that, I'm going to feel like I'm going to slide my feet down the wall. They're not actually going to move, but by doing that, my hamstrings turn on, and I'm just going to try to posteriorly tuck my pelvis. So again, from here, I feel my feet pulling down the wall, and I tuck my hips under. So my tailbone is currently off the ground. My back is still on the ground. Maybe the very low lumbar scoops off a little bit, but we have a posterior tuck. I'm feeling hamstrings and a little bit of adductor, okay? So this position alone, for a lot of us to sit in extension, would be really, really nice to just hang out and breathe and taking those real big inhales through the nose and long exhales through the mouth. We tend to not focus on those exhales enough. When you fully exhale, maybe with some pursed lips and really force that air out at the end, it really forces your rib cage to go down, or those lower ribs to internally rotate, which is what's required to really get that diaphragm to go up at the end, which is going to give us a nice healthy breathing pattern. So make sure you focus on those long exhales. And again, this would be option number 1. If you want to take it a little further, we're going to now add in a little hip shift. So if you remember in the beginning, we tend to lateralize to the right. So I'm going to do a little left hip shift or a little left pull down here. So I'm going to try to take my left hip, suck it down so that my right knee reaches a little bit higher than my left. So now my right knee is up, my left hip's pulling down. I still have that posterior tuck, but when I do this, I start to feel my adductor a lot on this left side, and that's the goal. So I'm pulling down with the left, reaching with the right, and I'm purposely taking this left knee and I'm driving it harder into the ball to feel that adductor. I want left adductor and hamstring really fired up. Once I find this position, I'll just start to breathe again. In the nose, out the mouth. In the nose, out the mouth. And as I do this, when I do that full exhale and I feel my ribs draw down, I want to try to reflexively just kind of hold some of that tension so that when I inhale, I'm not blowing out the belly, but I'm inhaling and filling up the rib cage 360 degrees. So I'm just looking for 5 breaths. And again, you got 2 positions here. You can either just do the tuck and see how this feels first and just mainly focus on hamstrings. And if you're feeling good about it, let's try the hip shift. One knee going a little higher, one hip pulling down, find an adductor and hamstring, okay? And as you do this, you might start to sense the left side of your back in the ground a little bit on those inhales, okay? So that's gonna be the first one. 5 breaths there. Another thing to notice is, can you even do this shift? Can you get your right knee higher than the left? If not, just something to pay attention to, and maybe reach out to me and ask me about it, okay? So that's the first one, the 90-90 with a possible hip shift, if we can. If not, let's just work on having that 90-90 position with the posterior tuck for 5 breaths. The second one is gonna be in what I used to call also a 90-90 position, but we'll go in this same thing, 90 degrees at the knee, hip, knee, and I'm gonna sit up nice and tall, and I wanna make sure this is with my right knee forward, because I'm gonna try to create some space on my right side by closing off my left, because if you remember, we tend to be a little more compressed on the right, a little more open on the left, so we're gonna try to do the opposite. So I'm gonna kickstand out to the side. I'm still not gonna let my shoulder get up into my ear. I'm gonna push away, but I'm gonna let my right rib cage reach for my hand. So I'm gonna reach that right rib cage to the hand by compressing and engaging my left side. So I was here, I squeeze that left side down, I push the ground away, and then I'm gonna take my left hand and reach forward, and I'm gonna continue to reach and get just this tiny bit of rotation. Once you get here, without doing anything, you might start to feel a stretch kind of up your right side of your stomach and into your rib cage. But the way to really make this effective is to take those big inhales. So I'm gonna keep that squeeze on my left side. That's gonna block any air from getting into the left. I'm gonna take a big inhale through my nose. That's gonna fill up this right side, and I'm gonna again take a big exhale and feel that left side compress a little bit more. So we go again, big inhale, I'm trying to go into the right. Big exhale, squeeze the left. One more time, big inhale, I'm pushing the ground away. Big exhale. So the point, again, is to create some space in the intercostals here on the right and close off the left to force the air over here. So you might have to play with kind of where you're reaching, but just find that spot that when you take that inhale, you get a real nice stretch and release over here on the right side. So again, 5 breaths, looking at this position here with a nice kickstand, opening the right side, closing off the left, okay? And then the last one, we're gonna try to piece it all together, okay? So I'm gonna move over just a little bit so you can see the wall. We're gonna be against the wall, and I'm gonna be standing up here, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my feet probably about 1.5 to 2 feet away. I still want my ball or my little object I had before. I'm gonna squat down, not super deep, but about 45 degrees. I'm gonna put that ball right between my knees, okay? So I got feet at hip width, I'm squeezing my ball, and now we're gonna do all the things. So first, I wanna posteriorly tuck. So I'm gonna get my low back touching and my tailbone scooping off. Then we're gonna look for that hip shift again. I want my left hip pulling back and my right knee shifting forward. So now I got that left hip shift. So I'm sitting in the back of my left hip socket. I still hold on to the ball, probably feeling my adductor. And now we're gonna get the upper body working. I'm gonna take my left hand to my left obliques, and I'm gonna kind of engage and squeeze down. I'm gonna start to reach with my right arm. So all of these things are helping me lateralize into my left side because we typically are hanging out on the right. So again, I got my left hip pulled back, I'm reaching with that right arm. I'm gonna hang out here, and again, the biggest piece of all of these is to breathe. I'm gonna inhale. Think about inhaling into my right side, and then I'm gonna exhale and think about closing off my left. By closing off that left, I force that air over here. I inhale and I reach. Nice full inhale, and then I exhale. Again, full exhale to get that lower rib to internally rotate, maybe even pause the exhale, and then go back to an inhale. So that's gonna be your 3 positions. Again, I'm looking for about 5 breaths at each one, and let's do about 3 to 5 rounds. And you might just notice that when you're done, things might feel a little better. Maybe shoulders are a little looser. Maybe that little kink that you're feeling on one side of your low back is going away a little bit. Any of the above, our goal is just to get that body as neutral as possible so you can do whatever the heck you want, okay? So again, recap, you got the 90-90 on the wall with the ball between the knees. Play around with the hip shift, pulling the left hip down. See if we can. Again, if that's really troublesome, reach out to me. I'll help you out. And then the second one, we got the side kind of 90-90 position as well with the kickstand, reaching, trying to open up that right side rib cage. And then finally, we put it all together. We hop up on the wall. We're going to do that little squat position, left hip pull back, reach with the right arm, close off the left, and take those big breaths, okay? So hopefully this is helpful. Give it a shot. Let me know if you have any questions at all about anything I said. Please reach out and let me know. Otherwise, I hope this video wasn't too long for you, and I'll see you guys next time.